I think with what you just said about you get anxious sometimes that you want to practice more but you can't. The very essence, I think, of meditation in this case would be to notice I'm getting anxious about practicing. I'm getting anxious. Is it helpful? Is it helpful in that moment that me getting anxious about meditation? The very act should have been about helping me to calm. And I'm getting anxious about going to practice. And I think that's applicable for many things. And I think when you have an awareness in that moment, you then have a choice. All right, do I take action with this anxiety, or do I worry about it for the 19th time, 20th time? If you think about it, if you're really trying to play the movie in your head, you realize it's constant. You don't. I think like for me, anxious is continuously think about something without really doing anything about it, or there's nothing that you can really do. For example, worrying about getting up next day. Does worrying really help? It obviously doesn't, but people still get insomnia and can't sleep. So, like, if I can't sleep, I can't sleep. And again, it's very easy to intellectualize these things. It'll probably make perfect sense to everyone who's listening, but actually practicing it, because your mind is so often engrossed in different anxieties. Because the knots are so big, it's very difficult to become aware of it. But moments there will be when it's painful enough. Yeah.
I guess it's probably also because of the expectation of improving itself give pressure, because then you're afraid of going to the practice that day and feeling, oh, I've done it for a while, but haven't really been better at it.
If you think of as a practice, like with, I think meditation, I don't know who said it, but there's no end goal in the practice itself. You don't, you get more, you probably achieve more of a calmer state than you otherwise would have been. But you could just do that by realizing actually you're always one step away from achieving the perfect calmness. The only thing that's stopping you is the thoughts in your head. So you're only one step away from it. So it's not that far away. But the minute when you start building the anxiety, they add up. And that's when you get more anxious about the practice. When we really think about it is, all right, I'm anxious. Oh, I'm anxious. You've achieved it. You're there. But that's very hard to do because it's moment to moment. So that's where I think the practice is so simple, and we've I think the media has made something. I mean, I don't know. Maybe it's the human mind made something more complex.
I also felt like, because you mentioned a lot about how public media depicts meditation as almost like a cool aid nowadays, and say it's gonna have so many benefits, everybody should do that. I also was reading another article about meditation recently. I think I sent it to you as well, and mentioning some side effects of meditation.
Yes.
Yeah, and also I have like people told me that, for example, they try meditation. Sometimes it does help, but a lot of time, if they do longer time, they become very, 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 very anxious, and it's almost like bad for their mental wellness. So I'm just trying to think, like, how do you see those things? Like, how do you think, we should be aware of that? Because the last thing I want to do is to tell everybody meditation is the best thing ever you should do, and without any thinking on the different sides of things.
I can only reflect on my personal experience. Certainly there has been times where it's been particularly difficult. I think I was quite committed to it, and I think because of the commitment, I was willing to embrace whatever difficulties that I was going to face. Really, like I was willing to suffer. I was like, there were practices where you can't move for one solid hour with your knees crossed. I was, come at me. I was like, how much hurt can there be? It's difficult because it's a different experience for everyone. I don't think I can really give a concrete answer for that. I think for me, it was more about committing to something and trying to see it through, because the side effects could be something else other than mindfulness, because mindfulness is really just to observe whatever mind state that you were going through. But then again, I've had a fairly pleasant childhood, so like I'm in no place to comment on what others should do. So I think if it's difficult, of course, I think it's a one path towards a better understanding of yourself. There are, of course, seeing therapy, having therapy, and doing sports, and there's all different ways. I think, okay. I think that actually raises a new question. What are you trying to achieve? In not just in meditation, but in your life.
I guess this whole thing about expectation, is it?
Yeah.